Hey peeps, locking down the truth with Marci Lock and Karie, introduce yourself.
Karie Millspaugh.
Woo! Ciao! Okay, so we were just having so much fun. We decided we better freaking start this thing because you're missing like on me flashing the bikini and Carrie's like dancing around. I mean, it's all good stuff. She's gonna show hers up too. So you guys are joining us. Obviously, there's already a lot of energy going on. I'm Marci Lock. This is gorgeous Karie Millspaugh. So Karie and I felt inspired to come together and share some insights because Karie actually did my TV show quite a while ago, the Marci Lock influential TV show, and we're not exactly doing the Marci Lock TV show today because I want to have an open, authentic conversation between Karie and I, both having experience of being single moms, both having experience of being, coaches and entrepreneurs, and shifting the game we played from being that victim who maybe lived in limiting beliefs and was in a very limited space in life to me. I'm living in my beautiful paradise in San Diego. Carrie's rocking out her gorgeous place in Las Vegas and living the dream. And so our whole thought process we wanted to share, we were feeling inspired to share, was the journey that we've been on and how you get to break through. So Karie, I'm gonna let you like go off, girl, with where were you when we first interacted?
Well, to go back, I think it was August that we did our little interview, which was amazing. But I was just getting ready to step out of the corporate world and into entrepreneur for good. I had started up my business for a couple of years, but I had that whole fear of, oh my God, take the leap and the net will appear kind of thing. And I've heard that saying a million times, but I still was kind of there. So we met I was in that limbo getting ready to jump pose, literally.
Yeah.
And then I literally was looking for some type of help. I knew outside of me I needed some type of mentor or guide to help me get to that next level so I didn't get too comfortable, because that happens a lot of the time. We get to a landing spot and we think this is as good as it gets. I'm just going to stay in this little pond and swim around and realize and forget there's this ocean out here you can play in.
Mm-hmm.
So good old Marci shows up beginning of September and invites me into your mind body, and I jumped on it because, on all honesty, I knew I needed the mental mindset part of it all. I knew I needed to see where I was sabotaging, where my beliefs were holding me back, and what else I could overcome. I knew it wasn't just going to be about calories and checking your weight and measurements and such. I knew it wasn't about the food, that part. I knew it was going to go a lot deeper, so I was all on board, and it's been a whirlwind.
So, but the first draw for you was you were kind of like, I feel like I'm getting all dark with the gorgeous lighting that comes in here, but the first draw that came in for you, Karie, was there was part of it where what I really called you out on is you're this beautiful, amazing, genius, passionate, powerful goddess, but you were kind of in the place of living life at 80% of your power versus full throttle 100%. You hadn't quite made that leap to financially accept all the abundance that you were worthy of. The body wasn't exactly where you wanted to be, so it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go into it. I'll maybe I know it's some of the draw is the body, but there's this belief systems in play. And what I love that you just shared is, and you've probably seen this with your clients, is it doesn't matter how many business strategies you go into for business, how many seminars you take, how many books you read, how much how-tos on the surface you get taught or you look at or you even put into action when your belief systems below say, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, this is hard, I can't have this, there's an either this or that, kind of like, oh, I can either have a great, successful business or I can have a good relationship. And it's this bullshit game we play instead of going inside to go, oh, once I believe I'm deserving and worthy of everything, then, oh, it's easy and that actually shows up. What's your feedback on that became, how did you shift into understanding that?
Well, I know you have these great opportunity assignments. I nicknamed them empowerment assignments because that's exactly what they are as a part of our group sessions and such. But I always knew there was something wrong. This is how I had it kind of ass backwards completely, was I didn't realize the belief caused the situations. I thought the situation showed up and the belief was rooted down like, see, you're right. But I had it backwards. So I knew I had money situations and issues because it was always hard to get a hold of. It was always hard to get commission checks at work. It was always a challenge. And then something would happen and it would get taken away. But I never took the necessary time to go really deep on where that belief showed up from. And it was a childhood, obviously, unfortunate incident at 8 years old. But then my life proved me right over and over and over again. So I really thought it was the other way around. I thought the belief showed up after the pattern. but the pattern was caused by the belief. That's the part that is so important to go inward. I have this challenge with my own clients. I teach them nonstop marketing strategies, marketing systems, the whole how-to part of having an online business. But if they're just in that self-worth, like, I don't deserve this, I don't deserve this, and I see that with their pricing, I see it with their marketing, they're afraid to get out there, their fear of judgment shows up, they hold themselves back from the perfectionist bullshit that we tell ourselves, and all of it is, so much fun that we get to go inward and literally dig through that crack. It's like the foundation to it, like a tree trunk, the roots, not just the leaves. The leaves are just like with your body, mind, body, is the weight or a disease or whatever shows up. Same with your business, not making money, or you're not really quite getting off the ground. Let's go inward and really find the root of the cause. And then we get to flourish. Then we get to bear beautiful fruit, is literally how,
Yeah. You can't have, I want to touch base on this, that you can't have like a belief system. Say you said, I mean, I know you going through Mind Body, you got to like go head on face forward with money shit beliefs and relationship beliefs and body beliefs, that food, you said food was evil. All these things you figured out were going on internally that kept you blocking it from happening. And what I love to associate that to is, it's like, from the time we're little, you said it was a young age where you also need to create a belief. And this is because we have an experience and we make a decision like, oh, people are rude, or, I have to look a certain way, or I have to show up a certain way, that perfectionist identity, to be loved and validated. So then that plants the seed, and we start cultivating the seed, and it becomes a tree or whatever to produce the fruit. And it's shit fruit, I like to say. And then all of a sudden, like, someday we can't just be like, oh, so we get into the actions of, I want a different life experience, and we can't also be like, oh, someday my life will be balanced, when we're like productive craziness perfectionists that never takes time for ourselves and has no balance whatsoever. Or someday I'll make the money, when we're like literally blocking it and we're in shit and sacrifice and lack and survival. It's like someday, we think that someday it's just all of a sudden going to happen. And I'm like, bullshit. You cannot all of a sudden have awesome money fruit from bullshit belief tree of like lack of money, right? So, and that's the up-leveling thing you talked about. When all of a sudden we do start to break through. So say that you do look at these beliefs. This happened for you. I'd love you to dig into this. You started to face your money beliefs and your relationship beliefs and body beliefs and all these things, and then you start to create you planted a new seed. And you cultivated that, you created the new belief systems, patterns became new, habits became new, and you became living in it. And all of a sudden that new evidence shows up. Then what happens, Karie? To go, up level. Explain the up leveling and it making it your norm. What showed up for you?
Yeah, I do notice that. I've been reading The Big Leap about the whole upper level limit, I guess is what he calls it. Yep. And I've got a great guy in my life right now. I have to pinch myself every day, like, is this for real? I didn't know this could actually happen. He knows me so well in such a short time. I got a text this morning. I'm like, oh my God, could you be any more perfect for me? You totally read my mind. And I pinch myself, like, and then I'll start to go into trying to find something a red flag or something to make me feel bad, or, dig through my old crap and old beliefs to see if I can find something there to wear that makes me feel more normal and icky. But I've been more aware of it than ever before, and I get to just literally move forward and just be fucking happy. It's okay to be happy.
And I love this. I love it. This is like the happiest moment for me to see. So, a lot of the people I work with are like you. They're powerful, amazing women who, for some reason, operate at 80% because they haven't gone into belief systems and let them ultimately have it. And to see you like rock out your business at a higher degree, create a dream relationship, rocking in your body, spiritually aligned, all these things, you're just like, it's just always happy and easy. That's what we want to tell people it can be, instead of, okay, well, life there has to be settle or sacrifice. So one thing can be pretty good or great, but then other things have to be shitty, and like I can't have it all. And that's such a bullshit belief. And so the moment we do create it, also it's like, oh wait, this isn't normal, this is normal. So what were some of the things that you did? Because I know for me, when I moved to California, when I created that this was my next level, that my next paradise to break through a comfort zone, and I remember all this resistance and shit showing up, and I was like, that's right, oh oh, this is my new norm. This is my new norm. This is my new norm. And I think I told you that too. Is like remembering this is my new norm. Being treated like a goddess by the most amazing man and having an epic relationship is your new norm. Having abundance flow in and money flow in, which you were just telling me before we got on the call about an awesome experience of letting that flow into your life, that is your new norm. But what were the things that you did, not only looking at the belief systems, obviously, but then to allow you to go, that's right, when fear shows up and old shit shows up, what's the key for people to not go back into that comfort zone but to continue to move forward or to remember?
You know, you actually mentioned in our last interview about the whole fear of faith thing. So I grabbed my Napoleon Hill book, The Outwitting the Devil, as a reminder. And I have it right by my nightstand because every morning you get to wake up with two choices, fear or faith. And I use it with my daughter. When she has little panic attacks, I'm like, what are we picking? Okay, I pick faith. And it like snaps her right out of that little panic moment. I choose faith. And that's literally how simple it is. It's such a simple formula. Like just wake up. Most days I wake up with a smile on my face, like literally just beaming with happiness. Occasionally have those days, and then I just remember, okay, this is a test. I get to sit with this for a minute, and then I'll get out of bed when I feel faith, you know, showing up again, and then that's how I start my day. But you know, it's really that simple. You know, it's not complicated. It's not go into analytical and try to justify everything. It's just really those two paths. You only have two to choose from. The fear one doesn't look like so much fun, and I choose happy. So that's just literally how I roll every day, literally. I mean, just why do it any other way? And I know happy is a magnet anyway, and it's going to attract more happy. So it is just amazing. But trust me, life keeps showing me little tests. I just deal with it now. There's no bad days. There might be a bad 15 minutes, but that's it. You know, it's quick and fast. I overcome so much faster than ever before. It is. It's just.
Why is that? Why is that, Karie? What is the truth and the knowledge that you know that you're aligned with now that makes you realize that, oh, this can just be that now your norm is every day's an awesome day. I wake up with a smile on my face, and if I have shit show up, you know how to process through it because what are you in tune with that makes that possible?
Well, I'm definitely, obviously, very spiritual, so I'm aligned with Source and God. You know, and I talk outward. You know, you and I had a conversation about a couple weeks ago, and I ask outward. Okay, where do I need to go? Show me what's next. Let me make sure I see the right signs. Sometimes it looks like an interesting path. Sometimes it's a closed door. And sometimes the door just opens. And your job is to literally open it. Start it with your mind opening the door. And the rest just kind of comes with flow. And earlier this week, you know, in my world, I came from being a publicist for a very well-known business coach. He and I obviously don't work together anymore. But a few years ago, I introduced him to a celebrity broker. And I kind of lost track of her, and I thought I did the best job ever as a publicist by connecting him to one of the top 10 celebrity brokers in the nation. And then for some reason I couldn't get her name. After I asked these questions all day Monday, I couldn't get her name out of my head. I literally couldn't sleep. I finally put a reminder in my phone to email her in the morning so I could finally go to sleep. And the next morning I emailed her. I'm like, Jackie, you might remember me. I don't even know what I'm supposed to tell you, but happy holidays. The angels laid you on my heart. And she said, call me in 15 minutes. I want to work with you. And that just took me to, I'm the publicist just shining a light on somebody else, to, fuck that. They're going to shine a light on your ass now.
Yes. Love it. See, so you and I were having a conversation, like you've done the mind body breakthrough. You're now moving into going into Goddess Revolution and being a part of Goddess Entrepreneur and teaching even marketing strategies and different things. And I was telling you, I was like, Karie, the thing that you get to tap into even more is that feeling of beingness, that it is so effortless and easy that literally when you're feeling good and you're aligned and you know your worth, those things, those inspirations are just going to come. And I told you how I now set an intention to create my at-home program going into corporations for employees, etc. And how all of a sudden someone's name came up for me. Same thing. I was like, I don't know why I'm supposed to connect with this person, but I don't judge it or question it because I'm just aligned. I connect and they're doing $1 million corporate deals with health programs and want to put and I was like, oh, there you go, $1 million deal right there. And you're like, oh, I listened, and all of a sudden, boom, it's right there and it's showing up. And this is the difference between that, okay, I'm going to learn the next business strategy and I have to do it, and it's, you know, I believe business is hard and it's a success and it has to look this way and I'm sacrificed, I'm set on fight. You're believing and creating and experiencing, it always gets to be hard, sacrifice, settle, fight, battle. When you're like, oh, I know, and the thing I was getting at is you know that you're the creator of your world. You know that you are the source of your own experience, and in that truth is why you realize, oh, every day gets to be an awesome day. I get to look at this, see what's really going on, not ignore it, just like, okay, I'm going to choose faith and I'm going to ignore it. That's a clarity that's there, but you get to look at it, feel it, see what's really going on, see if it's true or not, decide what do I want to create. Is it blame or solution? Do I want to choose fear or faith? You choose because you know you're the creator of your world, and so it's a 15-minute instead of a whole, you know, weeks and months and year of this was shit, and then this stuff shows up for you, which, because you're just like, oh yeah, of course I'm worthy of this, I get to remember this is what I get to do right now, and then all of a sudden these things show up, and I'm like, cha, you rock, kitty rock. So cool.
It's true. Once you get clear on what you want, make sure it's what you really want, because it will show up. I mean,
so share some of that. Did you have some moments where you realize now how powerful you are by even having the focus be on shit, and shit shows up, and then you're like, oh, thank you. That's a great reminder. I am that powerful.
Yes. Yes, literally. No, I had a conversation with a girlfriend in the morning one day. Like, I want to do more public speaking events. By that afternoon, I had a public speaking event lined up. You know, someone out of the blue just asked me to be a part of his program next month. That kind of clarity. Like, yeah, I need to do that more. Then another friend showed up asking me why I'm not doing more public speaking, and then another one, and I'm like, okay, I get it. This is happening all within 24 hours. I had a gig lined up. So that kind of clarity. And then I said, well, I love to be on camera. Obviously, TV, 3 years of acting, things like that. That's just very comfortable for me. Why stop at public speaking when you can have your own TV show, you know? So that's another clarity, and that's how this celebrity broker just showed up in my world. She's a producer. So you never know. You just got to get super clear and get ready to, you know, go fast, because that's what I like anyway. Once you're clear, it goes really quick.
Well, okay, so let's look at that, because getting clear on what you want, and obviously with New Year's resolutions, and, you know, people all of a sudden are like, okay, I want something different in my life. What stops them usually from even taking action and moving is the inner thoughts, beliefs, and the comfort zone, right? So, but the thing I really feel like people get to hear is that it's like you're choosing to stay in war inside yourself. You're choosing to make it hard, make it this long journey, when you just said the moment you are clear and the moment we actually look at all this shit, it gives us freedom. And that freedom then makes life easy, that it just shows up super fast. So if someone has a belief that, like, oh, creating my own business and moving into this space, like, you know this, like, it's going to be this long process. I talk to people and they're like, oh, this is going to be a long process, same thing with losing weight or, you know, getting a relationship or anything. And it's like, well, that's a choice. That's a belief system. That's a parameter in your mind that you've created. The moment you break through the shit that says, I believe it or I can't have it, and you go, this is what I want, and you're in tune with that creator, boom, it's like, life just shifts so freaking fast. For me to go from that $2 an hour waitress I was, single mom, cheated on, newly divorced, 1 and a 4-year-old, didn't know how I was going to survive, $10 to my name. I was on TV within a year. And just because, and doing my mind-body program, and to be where I'm at today, it's like, yeah, it's because we live these tools of breaking through to just up-level and up-level and up-level. And really the thing is, how good can you handle it? Yes. How good can you handle it? How much joy can you feel and receive, and harmony and love and balance and abundance? And when you know your power and your worth and you're aligned to that, you wouldn't accept anything other than that. Is that what? Share a little bit of like where what you were experiencing before and how that is your experience now, or how that shifted for you.
That's so true. Because I have been through those journeys where, you know, I love the book, The War of Art, because it talks about resistance, and sometimes we manifest it outside of ourselves. We're like, I didn't cause that to happen and all these challenges. Yes, you did. You manifested that. It might be in another person, but you chose that as an excuse or blame or whatever, denial, to slow your ass down. So resistance is huge. And to be aware of it now, I'm very, very into it. Like, why am I putting this off? Why am I procrastinating? Why am I stuck here? Even when I got that email from that celebrity broker, I literally had to go, I immediately went, oh, she wants to talk to me direct in 15 minutes? You're like, okay, I got to get up and take a walk and clear my head And then I called her. And I'm like, don't you hold yourself back. That new powerful Karie goes, don't you hold your ass back, girl. You get up there. This is what you wanted. And old Karie's like, are you sure? And I know the difference now. And I listen to strong Karie now. I listen to the one that's like, don't hold your ass back. No more saying no. No more limits. Because it's just true. We really are limitless. And once we believe that, we walk through the door so much faster knowing it's all good. It's all going to be okay. We just freak out for the dumbest stuff, chasing ghosts and imagining things that aren't there, and it's just a sad way to live, and it's, turns into a maze instead of a fun streaming flow of success.
Yeah, so a couple things that bring up a thought for me when you say that, because when we were talking about all these inspirations coming through us that we wanted to share, what both of our experience has been, and you had said, well, what really comes up for me is I got to let go to receive. I've got to let go of all my old identity and the old stories and the old shit and, like you said, the thoughts and the fears and all these things to actually receive the new. Because if and you're talking about there's this space where you believe 80% of what you tell yourself and only 20% from what you hear from someone else. So what are you telling yourself? If the thought for you is like, ooh, it's like you say you want something out loud and then the moment shows up, we go, ooh, I don't know if I want that. We're protecting, and I want people to hear that your ego mind and what you believed your whole life, this is the comfort zone you built. It knows every little trick and secret to keep you hiding in the shadows of your smaller self, to bring up that protecting the smaller self, which is just like, just because, and you and I have dived deep into perfectionist identity because that's so common in most people, but also just in realizing that the moment I think, I want something, but I think it has to look a certain way, or I don't know how it's going to look and what, the end result's going to be, so I just don't move at all. And that's protecting our smaller self, because all you're going to do is stay stuck in the same stories. And so really you had to let go of those stories and those thoughts and beliefs and take control as a conscious creator in the moment to when that shit showed up, to just be like, oh, let me look at this, and is this really true, and what do I really want? No, that's right. So if I really do want this, I'm moving toward this. This is what I got to do, the next step, even though I don't know. You don't know how it's going to end up with the broker. But in the past, you've probably been like, wait a minute, am I going to be on TV, and what's going to happen, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so we just shut ourselves down.
Yeah, that's what happened for about 2 seconds, but that's it.
Yeah, there you go.
Better than 2 days.
So you say it's becoming the conscious creator, becoming aligned and understanding what you are choosing moment by moment, so that you continue to move forward. It's not just like this short-term boom. It's like I see people go through the mind-body breakthrough to learn the tools, and it's like I'm living the same tools. And that's why my life continues to up-level and up-level and up-level and up-level and up-level, and I'm where I'm at today. It's because I continue to live the tools every single day. You got to take responsibility.
Yes, and I, your whole balance and the tools I've used with meditations in the morning and starting off your day on the right foot makes such a difference too, and the whole balance piece too, and just being calm in the mind and not stressed and scattered and unbalanced. And that's when those stupid fears show up and all the sneaky thoughts and sabotage start to show up too if you're not taking care of yourself. So that's definitely something I'm very worthy of, and I realize that the strong Karie, there's enough to go around for everybody when she works on herself, more than importantly. But like you said, putting on that old identity, or taking off the old identity, is one process, and then putting on that new sexy identity is it's going to take time. There's going to be time when you're going to be like, well, this sexy identity doesn't really fit well, and it doesn't look as like I thought. Maybe that old comfortable old shoe looking identity feels better for today, because it does feel different at first. You almost, like, I went through this high after I shed some old money beliefs and some other beliefs that I kept looking like, waiting for the other shoe to drop. At any moment, it's going to get bad, and it's like, no, Karie, this is your new normal. This is okay. It's okay to sing in the shower every day and feel good. It's okay to not worry about the future. It's fucking-K. Literally. So, when you just start to evolve, you just be wary of that, still wanting to put on that old identity. But just know that's a part of you. Kiss that old identity goodbye. Thank you for its lessons. But this is what the new sparkly Karie gets to look like, and this is how she shows up every day. And embrace yourself and love it. Love it all the way to the top.
That's awesome, babes. I'm so happy to hear that with you. And I think one of the things that you tapped onto is it's not even rejecting or getting mad at the old identity. it just, when it shows up, when little things show up, it's simply, oh, feedback of interesting that I saw this situation this way again, or I attracted this showing up again, or that this has come up for me again, and this just means, what else do I get to learn here to allow me to even let it go, or to grow deeper into it and give me more freedom and more love and more joy and more abundance and more awesomeness. And something you tapped onto is that there's more than enough of the powerful Karie to go around. So something I feel like would be important, because both of us have had this experience of obviously being moms in general. So whether you're a mom and you can relate to, you know, a lot of the thoughts or conditionings of society about having kids and how it has to look, and, you know, showing up for a spouse or whatever, to even being single moms. So you and I are both single moms. And I know that that was a big journey for you to let go of stories of how it had to look to be where you're at, and it was the same thing for me. I definitely would not be here today and living the awesome ideal life that I live in, and my kids be empowered to rock out. I mean, you saw they did a TV show with me, and they do little mind videos all the time teaching little kids, and they would not be these empowered little individuals if I had said, oh, being a mom has to look like this. It has to look a certain way that society says it has to look for it to be okay. And so I'm a bad mom if it doesn't look like this. That's really huge for so many women, and especially women that are stepping fully into their power, knowing that there's so much more to come through them. Share kind of what you got to go through with shifting some of those beliefs that you're actually more to give when you are taking care of yourself. What do you really mean by that?
Well, at first, every mom goes through guilt when they plan a date night or a night with their girlfriends, and then they have to get a sitter, and then that look on your kid's face as you leave, and you feel guilty. But then you realize you come back so rejuvenated, and you're so excited to come home and see your child, and now you're listening to their nighttime prayers with a different type of ear and awareness, because you're full. You feel good. You're completely present and in the moment. And when you're thinking about all the chores you have to do and the other things that are coming up, you're just, my baby girl's getting 10% of mom, maybe, you know, or something of that nature before. So I know how important it is. And making sure I fill my bucket first thing in the morning was one of the new things and new strategies I worked on for myself. In my head, I thought sleeping in was a present for myself, but I realized that getting up early enough to literally take care of myself, whether it was meditation, journaling, whatever felt good in the moment to really be Karie, be my being self before she woke up, before school, before clients, before all that, you know, crazy jazz that happens throughout your day. Then I just felt more aware. Again, I was more present. I could be more in tune with my clients. You know, I'm an intuitive. I like to hear the downloads I need to hear throughout our sessions. If I'm scattered and feeling guilty, like I didn't take care of something for myself, I'm only giving them a small percentage of my true self. So the guilt then shows up, and all the shame and the negative vibrations showed up with that too. And it doesn't have to be there anymore, because now I know I'm number one, and I start off the day with Karie. And she's kind of cool.
She is very cool. She's fucking awesome and beautiful and amazing and a goddess. So what I love about this is there's two things that it reminds me of. Is that really I believe first off, if you're not in tune with your tool, if you're not in tune with this vehicle that you've been given, which opens up even the inspiration, the creation connected to source, to, like you said, the thought of calling that broker or connecting with them, to what you get to talk to your clients about, or what you get to create and let your passion purpose show through. All these things come through the vehicle that we've been given. And I believe if you're not connected to this source, then you're literally operating out of less than 10% of your capacity and power. So what always blows my mind is when I interact with people like you, like when you and I first started, you know, and you started working with me and coming into Mind Body, it was like, you're already so powerful and you're already so amazing and there's so much. And yet I knew it was like this tiny inkling of the unleashing of Karie that was really there. And one aspect is just the body, right? And so that's what you're saying, like and so that was one of the aspects you focused on, is like, how do I connect to my tool? That's the easy part, we always say. It's why aren't you inside? In which you got to get clear on, you had some food is evil beliefs and, you know, all this other, and I can't take time for me, and working out, all these things that we got to break through and be like, oh no. So now you do that to allow yourself to be in tune with that. And by doing that, by not only the body, you talk about meditation, becoming internal peace, knowing like how to get clear every single moment when shit shows up, all of it allows you the access to just fully unleash and be that 100% of Karie that gets to just thrive.
Absolutely. You know, any client you can ask my clients, they're seeing a shift in me too, and they're just like, this is so cool. She's sharing it all with us. This is great. We get to use the same journey. I take everybody with me on a journey. My daughter, you name it. Whoever's close enough to get some goodness, they're going to learn what I learned that day, whether they like it or not.
Well, and that's because you're authentic, right? Like, what is the point of another story that a lot of people believe in is I got to pretend I'm showing up good. So as a past perfectionist identity, that would have been the past pattern. Be like, I'll pretend I have it all together, but I really don't, I'm afraid of judgment. So I won't step out and move towards my greatness because, oh, what if I'm not good enough, or what if people think this about me? And it all just is this bullshit story instead of like, oh, awesome. So the truth, and the truth to what we're really saying is, you're already perfect, whole, and complete. It's interesting, Karie. I've now had, so I've kind of got this whole big thing going on in Australia, in the UK, and New Zealand. I've got a ton of clients in my at-home program and my mastermind programs that are over there lately, and it's funny. I've had through some of the ads where like it shows like me standing there in my like ripped 8-pack and this lean. All of a sudden, some of the comments that come through, people were they're just like attack and say, I look like a bloke, or it's interesting and it's entertaining. A bloke over there is a man, a boy.
A bloke.
But it's so funny and interesting to me how we obviously choose to perceive and shut our. So someone that's, and as you look at the people that are making these comments, they're overweight, and so it triggers us to go, I don't want anything to do with that. Instead of us really realizing, I'm not saying, this is where the message can be very confusing. So people think we're saying, okay, you should look this way. Bullshit. No, but I get to choose how I want to look. Like for me, I love muscle and I love the lean, toned, ripped body of health because it's what resonates for me to live ultimately in tune with my spirit, to be connected to God, to be able to run with my kids and play ultimately and do all the things that I do. For someone else, it can look differently. But the message is, if you're not living in a body of health, meaning you're free to experience this alignment, you're free to experience connection and be inspired to create and do all these things, why not? Why would you choose anything other than that? Exactly. And it's because you're blocked in believing that you're worthy of it or deserving of it, when the truth and reality is you're already perfect in this moment. Even if you're 100 pounds overweight or 200 pounds overweight or whatever, or you're in lack and limitation with your business and you don't have any money, you're perfect, whole, and complete right now. And the reality is you're choosing that. You're choosing that as your experience because you are that powerful of a creator. But when you align to the truth, knowing I'm worthy and deserving fully, I'm already perfect, I'm a son or daughter of God, why would I choose anything but abundance when when I'm aware of that worth and that value? And that's the game, that's the internal shift that really got to shift for you to stop playing that perfectionist identity, mask game, to going, wow, I know my worth. I know that. And so hence, I am perfect, whole, and complete. Hence, I get to accept the dream guy and the awesome money and sharing my passion at a higher level and the rockin' body of health and the spiritual connection and being an amazing, phenomenal mother and connected with your little girl. And just even knowing all the stories you got to drop around, you getting to have the social life and the life with your little girl, and all those things all come down to me going, well, wait, I'm worthy and deserving, so what do I want it to look like? What does it get to look like for me? Any last words around that you want to share, feel like are important for people to understand?
Well, as a single mom, the first story I needed to drop was that I needed a husband.
We could laugh about that all day long, can we?
In fact, I left my ex-husband to find my ass, 7 years ago, and I did a really good job at finding and discovering who Karie really is. But not to just be anti-divorce or anything, or pro-divorce. But either way, it's doesn't have to look that way, because I did feel incomplete for a long time. And I was telling you that Thanksgiving was my first holiday where I didn't feel like something was missing. Mm-hmm. And everything was fine. I was in flow. I was with my daughter. She's with her friends. I'm with my friends. We had a great holiday.
And this wasn't with a relationship either. It was the first time. In the past, you would have been like, well, I don't have a relationship right now, so something's missing or lacking, and looked at the poor me story and the single mom story and all that, right?
Exactly. And I wouldn't talk about it, but I could feel it, that heaviness, like, oh, I'm not that person, or something's missing. It's just Karie party of one here, showing up. I'm not a couple. So, and that's kind of interesting, because I met this guy right after that happened. And I knew once I'd be happy and whole and complete feeling that he would show up, and it sure as hell did the next week, literally. So So like I could feel it, like, oh, this is where I was supposed to arrive. Boom, I'm here. He's gonna
But
come.
you had to walk through that to attract that. That's what I love, is that whenever we think that something's lacking or limiting from our life, we get to take responsibility and go, oh, okay, if something's lacking or not there, well, how do I get to create it in my life? And so for me, the big shift was realizing that, yes, I get to be perfect, whole, and complete on my own, not needing a man or needing some love and validation from outside myself or someone else to make me feel important. And you learn so much about this through the Mind Body Breakthrough, is how do I, if I ever want a feeling, instead of going to an outside substance or circumstance such as food or drugs or porn or sex or TV as a distraction or whatever we're doing, which is a conditioned experience in our society, instead you go inside and you find out, what is the feeling I'm really wanting? I'm really wanting some love. All right, how do I get to be the source of that for myself and give it to myself? And the moment you stood in that power and you're like, this is the experience in front of me, Thanksgiving with my daughter, what do I want it to look like? What does it get to be? And there's no sad stories or it has to look this way or I'm missing something or lacking or someone else isn't here to make me feel loved or validated. You chose that, and literally then you attract, because you're giving out love and you're full of love and you are love and you're the source of love, you receive love back and that shows up for you with exactly what you want. You fucking rock.
That's exactly how it looked too. Exactly. I was like, too many bad days. I'm done having bad days. I get to choose better. So it's been pretty fun. But you were talking about triggering people on Facebook. So I've been doing that a lot too lately, and which just means you're living bigger and you're shaking, rattling people's cages, which is a good sign in business that you're obviously living more authentically. And old Karie again would have. I literally posted something pretty brave not too long ago, and I could feel the fear of myself, like shrinking.
Was it the sexy, was it the book cover? Oh, that was so hot. That was so awesome. I was so proud of you. That was definitely triggering a lot of people. It was amazing.
Yes, and you know, coming from that Midwest in a box religious background, all those old fears showed up. And what's interesting is 5 years ago I was told by my CEO to take that picture down off my Facebook. So it was very liberating for me to go, fuck you, I work for Karie Lynn Millspaugh now. I'm putting this shit back up on my Facebook. So it was like double fold. And then I'm like, I know I'm going to be judged, but it's a part of the book. It has to be a part of it. It's a part of my fucking journey. So, of course, there's a zillion other pictures besides that one in the book. But overall, it's all about overcoming fear. That's the whole book's about. So I had to be a part of that. So I was overcoming my own fear just by posting about it. It was kind of interesting. I threw a little snippet of chapter 1 in there. And old Karie would have freaked out and would have wanted to fight back. Old Karie would have wanted to curse their name and then some and wish them evil karma. But instead, I just rose above it, and loving them in their own judgment and whatever it is, because there's lots of love too, not just judgment. And saying, I'm so happy I got to shine a mirror at you to help you reflect what your own feelings and thoughts and perspectives are, and just love them for where they are. Because yes, once upon a time I was that judgmental person too. So I just love them where they're at, and I just have compassion. And
isn't it interesting when you recognize so if you're in judgment of someone else, you're actually being the judger. And I love this deeper clarity of even when people go, oh, they have so many beliefs and things about their parents and issues that showed up, and they're like, oh, but if they'd only accept me to be me. But I'm like, isn't it interesting? Are you open to that by you saying they're not accepting you to be you, you're not accepting them to be who they are, that they're actually being this way, you're judging. And so, and some people might not understand this concept. You just kind of ran through really fast with some golden nuggets, which is it's a mirror. You are being a mirror for other people, and what they don't like in you or triggers them about you or they feel off about, they see in themselves in some form, in some way. So it might be, so it's like you throwing up that picture on people that are triggered, just like me throwing up if I'm in a bikini and someone's like, well, that doesn't look hot. Someone was like, you look like shit, eat a pie, eat a piece of pie. I'm like, that's awesome, that's totally okay. It's interesting what will be triggered for people. And so, yeah, you just laugh. But to be in a space where you're at, you're like, Marci, eat some pie.
Marci doesn't eat pie unless it's healthy.
because I'm worthy. I love myself, and pie to me is like poison. But there's a shift to get there, right? You know that. So in in you even sharing that you were like, okay, that's a huge I just want to applaud you for that, because that's a huge massive step for you from being that perfectionist identity that was afraid of judgment and stepping out to be like within like 90 days you were literally posting this picture on you of Facebook that had all sorts of people going like, whoa, oh my goodness, and it just and now you laugh at it and you're like, awesome, I love that. And being okay with, I'm just here for me to be an authentic, open tool to share my greatness. So let's really touch the thing that's coming through. Let's really touch base on when you're being authentic and you're being the vulnerable, awesome you that's sharing your genius, what do you attract?
Well, yeah, that's just it, is I attracted more people that want to do that. I mean, you're literally, by you stepping into your liberation gives permission for others to do the same thing, is how I feel. You know, I'm opening the door, and these people are like, hell yeah, I should do that. I can do this too. You know, it's like giving people permission to just shine and raises the level of a vibration of, you know, the whole planet. So if we could all be in that type of consciousness.
You give everyone a gift, number one. But number two, what you do is you attract to you the people that want to work with you.
Yes.
Versus when you're pretending and you're hiding and you're in inauthentic space, you're attracting people who aren't going to flow with you, who you don't really won't really like you. You won't really like working with them, and then it becomes this disconnect, and then it's like not great results anyways, and then they walk away being like, well, that sucked. Instead of, if I'm authentic and in who I am from the get-go, I attract to me the people like, that's badass. Most of the applications that come through for my program, people are like, it's like, why? And they're like, because you're so blunt and just out there, and you speak truth, and I know you don't hold anything back, and I want someone who you know has been through this shit and knows this shit and you know will tell me as it is. And I'm like, well, that's very true. I will call you on your shit always. So it's awesome that you get to open up that space to then just work with who you want to work with and be completely happy, and your life becomes the people that are around you are just the people that you want to work with and that want to thrive like you do.
Right. Yeah, I definitely don't want to help people by trying to be somebody I'm not. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
And that feels heavy anyway. I stopped kind of caring what people thought a long time ago, because I knew I had to help those people. The people that hear me are the ones that need it the most, and that's all that matters. The rest is just background noise. So you know, the haters and the people that heckle you, you know, it is what it is. It's all good. I've always been kind of I got a mission, so step aside kind of personality.
No, I just see it as like lions don't swat flies is one of the common things. It's like it's not worth your time or effort or energy, and it's just pure a laugh and an entertainment. If anything, it's like it makes me feel for people and where they're at in their perfect growth process, and that's okay for them. There's no judgment. That's okay for them that they see it that way or they're putting judgment on that way, because that's just where they're at and what they're choosing, what they're seeing. But so, Karie, what I want to wrap up with is, I mean, our we had all this flow coming through being like, I mean, obviously we could talk for hours and hours, and there's plenty for us to share of our journeys and how we got to be here, and obviously we're both inspired to share with people how to get to the same freedom that we know. But your intention was really even with you know, New Year's and resolutions and people like wanting to create change, but we see this cycle over and over and over again for people saying they want to create change, but we know it's all the bullshit stories inside that keep people from actually taking action and moving forward. What do you really want to share with people as to what that really looks like for them to move towards change and to create change and make it a permanent thing?
Right. Well, the key thing is daily, obviously, consistency and persistency. And if you don't have a coach, it's almost impossible to do on your own, to be honest, because you just don't see where you sabotage, and that's why I went with Marci. I knew there was something holding me back. I just couldn't see it because I'm in it every day. Mm-hmm. So that outside clarity, when I have my blinders on, which is every day, we all do, someone can help me.
Which is over there. I love that.
This is us most days. And then your coach comes along and points out your blind spot. It's all good. It's all with love. But, you know, and I get to do that with my clients too. It's just a full circle is what it really is. But overall, you know, it's just that consistency. Like, for example, I was talking with Marci because I started in the health and wellness industry 10 years ago, and every gym coach does really well like New Year's Day. I mean, the gym sales are off the charts, and everyone's going to buy a gym membership and get a trainer, and then by March the gym is empty again. So it's like, what happened? You know, they're really strong for like a month or two, and then they fizzle out. And if, you know, they're not caught into that, you know, creating good patterns, good work patterns, good life patterns, whatever the case may be, that consistency, because you're going to do this anyway. You're going to go through life a little bit ups and downs and challenges and reflection time and awareness, but overall, it just helps to have that support, build those people around you, have your team, in all honesty, and this also comes up too, is people will hold themselves back because they think it's lonely at the top. And even I thought that. I thought, these poor actresses and celebrities, they can't even go out to shopping and have a normal day. It must be so lonely being them. So that's what was holding me back too, is I don't want to lose friends. But what the good news is it's not lonely. You just get a different view. It's a different group of friends. Life and the universe keeps showing you another support team on top of that support team. Your friends and family, those that matter, will always stay anyway. But you'll always consistently up-level in your relationships too. I mean, this guy I have now, I never dreamt I could have somebody like this. I didn't know he existed. Old Karie thought this is as good as it gets, the shit over here that I was dealing with. And same with the friends, the powerful support, and meeting you and the people I've met through you just blows me away. It just gets better. It just gets better. So don't, obviously watch yourself and where you stop and keep moving forward, in those little tiny tricky spots where you stop and literally fall through the cracks. A coach or a support team can help you through those. So it's worth it to keep going. Consistent.
I 100% agree. Totally. Like I probably spend 30, 40 grand a month on my personal coaches because I'm so committed to, so this is one of my favorite quotes, is you don't get what you deserve. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you're committed to, because we all deserve it. We are all sons and daughters of God. We all deserve the very best. When we remember the truth that we're perfect, whole, and complete, we all deserve everything that we want. But the difference is, I believe, my perception of it is, or my truth around it is that God's up there saying, I love you so much, my child. I will let you experience whatever you want in this life. This is your perfect growth process. This is for you. This is because I love you so much. I want to allow you to grow and experience and expand. And so my intention is to always be continually expanding to the greatest version of myself. So hence, to do that, I know, like you said, to see outside of myself and even the patterns, identities, and things that we've all been built in, and what we don't know. It's like continuing to learn from other people's genius to get more and more freedom. And that truly, when we look at it and we go, how do I get to implement this in my life? And how do I get to accept this more, accept more joy, more love, more balance? And you nailed it. Like one of my phrases is, the better it gets, the better it gets. I learned that from one of my coaches. The better it gets, the better it gets. The better it gets. And it's like when you're in the belief system that there is no sacrifice, fight, settle, battle. When your belief system is, life is easy and awesome and I'm fully deserving and worthy, and everything that shows up when it looks like shit and resistance, it's really just a gift of feedback for me to go, awesome, interesting, what did I get to learn from this? What else do I get to do? What else do I get to try? And learning how to walk through it to then create more of alignment to the new belief system and more of alignment to the new patterns, identities. And so, I know I experienced the same thing with even dating, which was like, if I would have settled for what I years ago was dating, it was like, at the time, it was like, wow, that was the best thing I've ever experienced. And now I'm like, holy shit, that would have just still not been fulfilled me, because I continued to up level and get better and better and better to where you can't even imagine where you get to go. But it's about just moving forward an inch at a time. And I love understanding that most of us get stopped by thinking we don't know what the whole picture looks like. You couldn't have imagined, this experience you're in right now. And this was just like months ago. Like, your life shifts so fast when you break through all the shit inside. But if we try to look at the whole big picture and then we go, oh my gosh, that scares me because we're in a place of protecting our smaller self. Instead, if we just go, all right, I know if I'm moving towards what I want a greater life. I want to be more in tune with my body. I want epic relationships. I want these things. I'm going to just move a step at a time, and inch by inch, life is a cinch, but a yard by yard, it's hard, and we stop ourselves. So I fully 100% agree, coaches. You coach so many people now, and tell people what you really zone in on, what your genius is and what you do as far as coaching-wise.
Well, I work with two different types of clients. One that I'm very passionate about because I broke free from the corporate environment. So changing your life literally from employee to entrepreneur and creating that safety net so that you have that faith a little bit kind of is just there so you can make that big leap like I did. And I see so many people that want to do it. They're miserable. Their lifestyle's suffering. Their families are suffering. They're working 80 hours a week. They really want to live in their authentic purpose as well. It's really where my favorite zone is. So I take people from passion to purpose and from purpose to profits. And from employee to entrepreneurs. So that's where my sweet spot is because it's so close to my heart. I want to give people a better lifestyle. And then, of course, I work with higher-end clients. I'm getting ready to roll out another client, a couple of national-sized clients that want to take their brand. Most of it seems to be in the wellness industry, but he wants to take his brand from 8 clinics to 40. So we're going to try to do that with this new trademark and really go big. So I worked with both big corporations, big companies, big clients, and I work with that stay-at-home mom that's got a dream. How can I make this business my reality? And I walk you through it. So I do a lot of hand-holding mentorship stuff type of programs as well.
Awesome. So where do they find out about you, Karie? What's the best way that they get to connect with you if they're in either of those spaces, wanting your assistance and your genius?
The best is to go to kariemillspaugh.com, and a little contact button will pop up. Put in your information there. I get those direct emails right into my inbox, so I can communicate with you and kind of see where you're at in your journey and if I can be a help. If we're a good fit, I'll bring you on board. If not, I'll refer you to somebody like Marci.
The awesomeness. See, and that's the thing, is it's all about fit, right? It's like when you're worthy and you know it's not oh my gosh, I'm in lack and scarcity, so I'll take anybody's money, I'll work with anybody. I have, like, sometimes we get applications that come to my team and people that will email and be like, oh, I have all this money, I'll give it to you right now. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to see if you're actually ready for the shit that I do and if you're really committed to going through this process, because it gets to be a fit on both sides, because that's just when you're in that space of abundance and you're in that space of fully there for the purpose and passion that you are. Otherwise, it's not worth it to me. It's not worth it to me. And so there's so many experts and geniuses out there. And that's what I love, Karie, is that I was telling you, so yes, I do some business coaching with some of my high-end clients that my high-end clients that have worked with, Tony Robbins and all sorts of people, and they work with me for a year. Yeah, they want to do business coaching. They want to do everything strategy-wise. But a lot of people, it's just breaking through the roots and the beliefs in my mind-body breakthrough program to then moving to Goddess. I'm like, I want to guide them to someone like you that then goes, okay, now this is how we take your business, and boom. Because for me, that's not a big passion for me. I know it. I understand a lot of it, but probably not near the inkling of you do, where you can look at the gaps and like, oh, okay, this is how we put in, the funnels and we do all this stuff. That stuff I'm always like, the detail stuff, I'm always like, can you talk to my team? And and you guys say, Marci, this or this. I'm like, that one, that's good. that's my job when it comes down to that stuff. So it's so great when we all, first, when you clear through the shit, and you mentioned that before, you'll have clients that will not do the things you tell them to do because they're blocked in their own shit.
Yep.
Of believing they can do it and deserving they can have it. So ultimately, our message for people is, if you want something different, just get on the path and start to do something different and take it an inch at a time. But until you go inside, internally, your external world is not going to shift and change.
Exactly.
Is there anything else that you want to share today? I was like, we'll just let all this stuff come through. We had all these things that we wanted to share, and it's like, again, we could go forever. But anything else that comes up for you that you want to share?
Just final thoughts is kind of just to piggyback off what you already said. I think if anyone that tries to not do the inner work, it just shows up later in a bigger sabotage. Like we talked about money beliefs, and you believe that someone's always going to steal from you. That was my thing. It can show up when you're a millionaire, a multi-billionaire. Why lose big when you can just start now and fixing that shit today, so that later on it's not this massive, crushing, bone-breaking learning lesson. I see so many successful people that have never stopped and done the inner work, and I see the snowball effect. It doesn't get better. And the one thing I think I learned the most through this program was you can't out-earn a bad money belief either. And we always think we can outrun this shit, and you can't. You just can't. It will always find you and catch up with you. So instead of trying to paint that rusty barn and make it look good, go inward and clean it up and, start fresh with a great foundation and get to that shiny new level as fast as possible. Don't hold yourself back. And I always say life has enough obstacles. Don't be one of them is always my saying.
I love that. That's great. Well, it doesn't have to be, and it's just a choice if it is going to be that. So that's awesome. So cool. Well, we'll wrap it up. For those of you that are interested in connecting with Karie again, kariemillspaugh.com, right, Karie? Is that what it was? Karie Mill, and it's KariemillsPaughh. See, I know how to spell your name.com. So connect with her for all the awesomeness that she offers. I know she's got all sorts of different levels. If you're interested in either the mind-body breakthrough or goddess revolution and even goddess entrepreneur, that'll be expanding and launching soon as well for those women ready to take it into deep business stuff, which Karie's going to be a part of, then you can go to marcilock.com/application to be able to apply and see what might be a fit for you, whether it be at-home program or working in masterminds or whatnot. We've got lots of different options as well. But our main thing was, especially I think we have this space in our heart for women, because obviously we know what it's like to be that broken mom, that single mom, and even that broken woman in a lot of limiting beliefs. But obviously we both work with men as well. So just choosing, obviously, guys, my whole intention for you is to know that settle and sacrifice is a choice, just like thriving in life is a choice, and it's really up to you. And in this moment, if you want something different, what the results are in your life are reflecting what you're committed to. Are you committed to settle, sacrifice, hard, struggle, lack, limitation, or are you committed to every day gets better and better and life just gets greater and greater, and each step of the way teaches me how to have a greater experience and a greater experience. And there's all these people around you that can be, when you look for the evidence that life is that and can be that, you find it. I know it was one of the greatest things for me, Karie, and this is why I feel inspired sometimes, where it's just like, you and I was like, Karie, I have this inspiration. I feel like we get to do a show and share a lot of these concepts. Is for me, one of the greatest things was for me to go to 6 figures a month. Was I remember seeing, a lady out there that was doing it, that she was literally taking her kids and her nanny and flying her own private jet to all over. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's possible. And so for me in the past, thinking like $5,000 could have been like a ton of money a month, to now like, oh, 6 figures is easy. Because it's that internal breakthrough and that seeing the evidence of it. And so I love and honor you that you you took on the journey head on, and it's just been so cool to see you go from that already powerful woman that was just kind of settling and holding down to just now you're just this massive light. From the moment you got on the show today, I was like, well, there she is, like this bright, beautiful, pa-cha! Like you're just exuding light and greatness in every moment, in everything you do, in every interaction. I'm just so honored and loved watching your journey and continue to watch you shine and grow, and just love you dearly, darling. Thanks for doing this with me.
You bet, girl. Love you right back. The journey's been a blast. I can't wait to see what the future holds for both of us.
Yeah. You're coming to Goddess soon, too, so it's going to get even greater and greater and greater. So it'll be fun. All right, peeps, we love you lots. Connect with us either through Facebook or the avenues that we gave you, marcilock.com/application or kariemillspaugh.com. See how we can assist you, and just keep, choosing awesomeness, because that's the way we roll. Right, Karie?
That's right.
Awesome. All right, we'll tell you to have an awesome, amazing, wonderful day. Power choice is yours. Choose your best life and lock it down.
Lock it down.
Yeah.